everyone. Welcome to Pandas for Productivity, the show where I bring a business person's perspective to data analysis. Today I'm going to share a bit of personal history that will illustrate why I find it so important to pursue scalability when working with SQL. I first started out in the world of business data as an analytics partner to a business unit 7 years ago. At that time, it was enough if I knew how to run SQL in a way that I could pull data accurately, do analysis in Excel that was insightful, and create PowerPoints that my business stakeholders were able to just grab and use for their respective presentations. It was okay if an analysis took a day or more to do. Fast forward by 3 years, I became a campaign manager in a performance marketing unit, and I was responsible for a small account that did not require much operational action. I was still spending every day working with SQL, and I thought that I was doing a wonderful job. At this point, I believed that my main job was to be able to tell an accurate story about what was going on with my campaign. And so, I was pulling SQL every day, creating new charts, and creating new bullet points. The problem came about 1 year later. My job expanded and I was supposed to handle 3 accounts with the bandwidth that I was using for only 1 in the past. I was no longer able to use manual SQL every day and keep up with the daily volume of business. At that point, I was working 16 hours a day for 6 months just to maintain the level of business reporting that made me comfortable that I knew what was going on with my accounts in all their respective campaigns. Clearly, this was not sustainable. I learned a lot from that situation, and these are the top 3 advice that I have for all of you who are in the same boat. Is there a SQL report that you are refreshing every day? If so, are you running it manually? If you are, let's count how many minutes you are spending in SQL per day. For every report, you are going to copy-paste that query into your SQL interface. You're going to hit run. It's going to come out 5 minutes. Then after that, you download a CSV. You're going to put it into your Excel worksheet. Again, that's going to be another 5 minutes. After that, you're going to need to refresh all your pivots. That's another 5 minutes. Now you're already at 15 minutes, and that's a process that you repeat every single day. You haven't even gotten to the insights for your business that you're getting from the data. How can you automate all of this to save time? First of all, take away the need to run SQL manually. The date filter is the one that you're going to change the most. Every day you have to change your dates. Get familiar with the documentation for the SQL in your company and the page for date functions in particular. Most likely, you're going to be using one of the following: Hive, Presto, Standard SQL, BigQuery, which uses Standard SQL, or Teradata. You're looking for one main thing, which is how do you subtract a given number of days from the most recent date. Here are how some of the date subtraction functions look in various versions of SQL. You also have to remember that usually reporting happens daily. So your most recent date is not today, it is yesterday. So you need to find 2 things. One is how to express yesterday in SQL, which is basically taking the current date and subtracting 1 day from it. And then finding the start of that period, whether you're going to subtract a further 7 days from it to get week over week performance, or you're going to get last 28 days, last 90 days of data, or you can get year over year performance by subtracting 364 days from whatever time period you are pulling from to get the corresponding period matched to the day of the week in the previous year. Next, you need to find an alternative to the repetitive work of downloading CSVs from a SQL interface. Here's where you need to explore opportunities for automating SQL within an Excel workbook. This saves you a lot of time because not only does it mean that you just hit one click and the SQL output will refresh directly in Excel for you, it also means that that output is configured as a table, and therefore, when you build pivots on top of it, you don't have to manually adjust the pivots when the number of data rows changes. It's automatically going to conform to the size of that table no matter how many rows it is on any given day. You'll probably want to talk to your colleagues in either IT, data engineering, or analytics in order to find out how to set up the ODBC connectors to your company's data source within an Excel workbook. These days, most companies have at least some, if not all, of their data stored in the cloud. What does that mean? Well, the more queries you run and the more data that you pull out of that database, your company is going to be paying more to their cloud provider. That's why the gold standard is for divisions to come together and come up with common sets of dashboards in an environment such as ClickView, Tableau, or Looker, and then you can have a set of graphs that you don't need to manually maintain in Excel. Not only that, it saves the company money because you can pull one SQL query a day from the system, and that serves many different people. Honestly, my life changed the day that I realized I could rely on dashboards and other ways of pulling automated data instead of having to manually pull everything before I was willing to trust it. These days I'm back into a role where I need to monitor business performance daily and sometimes even hourly. By leveraging automation, I've been able to do it, keeping my sanity and my work-life balance intact. I hope that this was good food for thought and that it will be a useful way to liberate yourself from daily manual processes. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.